Learn to create an action game in Unreal Engine 5 at unfgames.com. If you want to learn more about Vertex Painting in Unreal Engine 5, then this video is for you. You will learn the theory behind Vertex Painting. Then we will create a material from scratch and show you how you can activate this feature. And moving on, we will create a nice material that blends really nicely with your textures. Then we will see how you can modify Quixel 3D assets to add more variation to the original versions. And finally, you will learn how to save time by using Quixel Blend Master Materials. Let's start by showing you the theory behind Vertex Painting. So let me go here to the green plus icon, and I can go here to the basic and go to shapes and drag a cube here. Let me move it up just like this. Okay, so let's understand what is Vertex Painting. If I go here to the select mode, you will see that you have the option for mesh paint. Okay, and what this does is allows you to paint here vertex color information inside your mesh. So what do I mean by this? Well, if I go here to the paint tab, you will see that I have a bunch of options to paint. Now, before showing you how you can paint here, I want you to understand how vertex information works. If I go here to the wireframe, I can check that here I have different vertex in my model, right? Each vertex will have some information. In this case, you can have like vertex color information, which is stored in a R, G, B, and alpha. Okay, like each value will have a range from 0 to 1. The red will be from 0 to 1, the green will be from 0 to 1, and so on. So just like textures is very similar to textures, vertex also have their own information. So to understand this a little bit better, I'm going here to put Alt 4 to check the delete mode. And instead here, by default, it will be off. I will go here to the RGB channels. And you will see that my mesh turns white. And the reason is, by default, this mesh has all the values to 1. The red has a value of 1. The green has a value of 1. And the blue channel has a value of 1. And also the alpha. Let's work on the 3 of those. Let's ignore the alpha for now. So what I'm gonna do here is to paint everything black. So I'm going here to this swap paint and erase colors. And then I will go to fill. And now you will see that my mesh turned black. So what can I do with this? If I swap the paint again, I can paint in white. So what do I mean by this? So I can check here to check which channel I want to paint. And for example, I want to paint the red channel. I can just click here. And the harder I click, the more painting I will have, right? The more value, right? I can start with a very low value and I can go crank it up until I have a solid red color. Let's go what happens when I paint the green channel here. Of course, you will see green. Let's paint blue here. There you go. So now you have different channels. So what you can do is to basically see each channel individually how it looks like. I want to check only the red channel, the green channel, or the blue channel. Okay, or I can check all the channels to check the vertex information. Now I can actually paint both of them. So for example, I can paint like red and green, and I will have yellow. I can paint red and blue. I can have like this kind of pink color, and I can have like green and blue, and I can put this cyan color, something like this. Now what happens when I paint the 3 of them is it becomes white. Now this happens because all the values are turned into 1. Red is 1, green is 1, and blue is 1. So each vertex here will have a value from 0 to 1. Okay, so 0 if it's black and 1 if it's white. And for example, this will be for the red channel, and the green channel will also have another value from 0 to 1, and so on from all the rest of the channels. Now, this is the way you can visualize vertex colors. And now that we know how they work, we're gonna go to the materials to show you how you can use this in your favor, because these ones are really important where you want to show different information in your mesh. Maybe you want the red channel to be like a brick, the green channel can be like a wood texture, the blue channel can be like puddles. It can be anything you want actually. So now that we know the basic theory behind the vertex painting information, let's go and create some materials where we can do something with it. So now we will create a very basic material for our cube. Now we will go here to the content drawer, and I will right click and select a material and then name it like basic vertex, something like that. And then just double click on this, and I can just drag and drop here. And now if you're pretty new to materials, we have a complete material tutorial. I will put a link in the description, and also up here should be something. But now I just want to show you, like with right click you can move around, and basically you can connect different things here. We're gonna make it very simple. We're not gonna touch anything of this. So what I'm gonna do is to create a color. Okay, so I will create a color, maybe put a parameter, vector parameter. Here you go. You can also press the V if you want to create a vector parameter, and I will call this color. Okay, I will put something like I don't know, something like this. Okay, and I will put it here. Click apply. And now what I can do is to go here to my map overview, control space, and then right click and then create a material instance. Let's just put it like this and drag and drop this one here. Now you will see that I have my pink cube here, but because this is a parameter, I can actually change the values here with the instance. So I can just come here and I can go to color and change this color to whatever color I want. So what else we need to do? Well, we need a way to tell Unreal that we want this color only to be applied with vertex information. Okay, so how can we do that? Well, we can go to vertex color. There you go. And this is the vertex color data. So what I can do is to use this as a mask and then combine these two to basically paint on my mesh. So what I will do is to create a linear interpolate node pressing L here, and the alpha will be one of these nodes here. For example, I can drag the red here, and I need two values. On the V side, I will have my color that I want to change. Okay, and on the A side, I will have the base color. So I will rename this color as the top color, and I will Control C and Control V and rename this as the base color. And I will put something different, something like green. So I will put something like this, and then I will put this on the base color. Let's hit apply. And there you go. Now you see that something's going on here, and let's take a look at our material. So if we take a look at our vertex information here, our material instance, let's change that top color to something like this. Okay. And the base color, maybe we can put it black, so it can be easier to see what's going on. Now, let's take a look at the vertex painting. As you can see, if I go to mesh paint, I have more vertex here. right? So what I can do is paint here. And because I decide in my material that only the red channel will be able to modify this color, if I paint, for example, the green channel, and let me go here to the color view mode and press off. If I paint here green, nothing will happen. If I increase the strength and the size, you will see that nothing will happen. The same with blue, and the same with other channels that are not red. However, if I paint red here, you will see that I have my channel here. And I can go here. I can continue to paint red here and there. Okay, so how much, what else we can do with this? Well, we can actually decide in the material instance which vertex channel we want to change when we paint. And we can do this by using a channel parameter. There you go, channel mask parameter. And we will call this like vertex channel. By default, it will be red. So we will grab the RGB data from here. This will basically choose this data here. Okay, basically everything. The red, the green, and the blue channel. And it will go here. And you can see that here you can change this to green, to blue, to alpha, whatever you want. Okay, so let's put it on the alpha and let's click apply. Click save. And now let's go back and see what happens if we change this vertex channel to green. Now you will see that only the green parts that are painted will be painted in pink. And the reason is, if we go to our RGB channels, now this is a little bit hard to see when you put all the channels because the green is here and the green is also here. But if you isolate them, for example, like the green channel, you will see that the green channel is painted in these areas. If we check the blue channel, you will see that the blue channel is in these areas. And of course, if we go here to our vertex channel, we can change to green, to blue. And now if I turn this off, you will see that now my paint, it's actually applied into the areas of the blue channels. And I can keep changing this until I decide what I want to do. So for example, I press the green button, I can go here. And to erase things, I can just press shift. And you will see that I will erase some painting here, some vertex information. Now, one thing before we move forward is that this mesh here actually has some vertex to work on. If you don't have any vertex to work on, you won't be able to paint on it. If you have very little, then you will have a lot of influence. So make sure your mesh has more vertex if you want to add more detail. This is very important when working with vertex painting. The next thing we're gonna do is to see how we can add textures into this material here to make it a little bit more complicated. So let's add some textures into this material. So I'm going here to press Ctrl space and then add Quixel content. And here you can browse for any material you want. For example, you can type like rock and then select surfaces, and then you can just select any one of those. In my case, I select a couple of those, a layer beach rock and an eroded sandstone cliff. You can do, you can choose whatever texture you want. In my case, I will choose these ones just to illustrate how things will work with vertex painting. So I will choose the layer beach rock, click add, and now you will see that I have my material here with my textures. And let me go here to my eroded sandstone cliff, click add, and now you will be able to have it in your content browser. If you want something else, you just come back here, like grab this one, click download, and it will download. And you can also select the quality. For me, the medium quality, it's more than enough. So that's what I chose. And then you can just press add, okay? So let's go back here check the map overview. And now, by choosing Control Space, we can just import these textures into our material here. We put it in our content. Okay, so we can double click on this. And now what we can do is to replace these colors by using the textures. Okay, so what I will do is put this layer beach rock as a base. So I will drag all of this and I will put it here. Okay, and instead of having this base color, what I will do is to have a material here. So how can I do this? Well, I can delete this one. I don't need this anymore. Okay, and what I can do is to create a make material attributes. And now that you have this, you can just grab the base color here, which is the color of your texture. You can drag the normal map here, and the mask, you can drag each channel to the right one. If you don't know which one is the right one, you can double click on this and select individual channels here. For example, this is the ambient occlusion. How do I know this? You will see like it has shadows here. You can check how it looks like the texture has some shadow information. If you check the green one, it's a roughness texture. It's how shiny or how rough it will be. And then the blue one is the height map, which is the height information. The dark parts are parts that are more in depth, and the white parts are closer to the surface. Okay, so combining the three of those, you have this weird color. So we can just select the red one here, the green one goes to the roughness, and the blue one we're going to use in the future. Okay, let's delete this color, and now what we're gonna do is to drag the other textures here. And we're gonna create a material like this. Okay, so what we can do is to Control C here and Control V, and then drag this one here, drag the normal, and then drag the roughness. The roughness goes to the green, the red goes to the ambient occlusion, and the blue one we don't need it right now. Now, if you try to put this one here, you won't be able to blend these two, because this only blends one attribute, and you have like more than one attribute in a material. So instead of using the lerp mode, we're going to use something different, and it's called material blend standard. Okay, and we can do this here. And now we can put the base here, which is a rock, and then the sand, we're gonna put it in the top. And now, instead of using this lerp mode, we're gonna delete this and drag this wire here to the alpha. And then how we can connect this one, we can click here in any part of our graph, which is empty, and then go here to the material attributes and click check use material attributes and connect this one here. And just like this, we have connected all of them. Okay, so let's try it out. So we have our material here. Let's go back to the mesh paint and go to paint and check the RGB channels. And as you can see, we're having some of them like different colors. Let's just try to paint everything black. Okay, so let's go here. I press Control Space to get my instance here in my content browser. And let's just choose the red channel as our main channel for Vertex Painting. Okay, so what we can do is to basically paint some color here. And you will see that you have the red channel happening. So if I turn it off, you will see that you have your sand here. And what you can do is to basically paint here. And this is great because now when you paint here, you're actually painting the sand. Let me just move this one here, and I can just continue to paint in the red channel, and now you can blend two different values. Now you can see that I'm a little bit limited by the amount of vertex that I have. This is why it's a good idea to basically have a mesh with more vertex colors. So what you can do is go here to the modeling tools, and maybe you want to select a box or a cylinder. Anything is fine. Let me choose a cylinder because I really like how materials look on cylinders. I can change the radius something like 90, something like that. And then you will see that I can have height subdivisions. I can put something like 10, for example. This will give me a lot of vertex here that I can have on my scene. I can click here and complete. And now what I can press Ctrl space and drag my material instance here. As you can see, when I create one mesh, automatically all the channels are white. So what I need to do is to go to the mesh paint, go to paint, and erase the color here by putting the fill in the black. And you can see that my UVs are a little bit too big. We will fix this later in the future, but for now we can just go here and start painting. And as you can see, because I have more vertex colors, more vertices to work with, I can have more control over where I want my paint. If I didn't have enough vertex colors, then just like this mesh, one painting will cover a lot of space in my mesh. So you want to make sure you have enough vertex. You don't necessarily need to have thousands of vertex to paint. You just need a handful of those so you can have results. Now, let me fix the UVs really quickly so you can have a better view of this texture here. Let me go here to my UVs, go to the layout, put a transform here, and scale it to maybe 3, something like that. Yeah, maybe 4. Looks like a nice size. So now it looks a little bit better. It's more of a, has a nicer size. So I can go here to my mesh paint, and I can continue to paint on the red channel. Right. So what we can do now, because these parts have basically they have a smooth transition. It's like if you check the vertex colors, let's put the red channel here, you will see that my red channel basically it's having let me press shift to delete. As I continue to paint here, you will see that I have a smooth transition here from black to darker red and then the brighter red color. So this is a little bit unnatural, and in order to fix this, we can do a height blend to make our textures feel much better. So let's improve the blending of our material. Let me press shift 1 to have a bigger space, and now let's go to our material here. Let's go here to the material we create. Now this alpha, it's giving us a very smooth result, which is okay, but it can be better. So what we can do is to basically create a height lerp. Let me press tab and put height, and then you will see that I have a bunch of options. I want to choose a height lerp. Let me click on this, and now you will see I have a bunch of options here. The first two are basically the colors. I don't really need them because I'm not going to get the results from here. I only want the alpha. Okay, so what do I need? I need a transition phase, which is basically what is deciding where is this height lerp it's going to happen. So in my case, I want to use this channel here. The next one is I'm going to use a height texture. So in my case, I want to use the rock texture, so I can use these values to decide where I want to put my sand. Okay, so let me put this one here. And now what I have here is the contrast. So I will press 1 to create a parameter, and then right click to convert it to a parameter, to create a scalar value, and then convert it to a parameter. And then I will call this Vertex Paint contrast. I don't know, maybe red. Okay, and let me put the value to 0 to start out. And just by doing this, let's go back to the alpha and replace this with a new height lerp. Let me move this a little bit so it can be a little bit more organized. And now that I have this basic setup, let me hit apply. And now this will make your material a little bit more heavier in terms of instructions, but it will have a nicer result. So now I don't have any contrast, but you can see something's going on here. It's a little bit different. So what I can do is increase the contrast here. I can put 1, 2, I can put 50 if I want, or I can put -1 to invert the result. And I can put something like 1. And now when I paint here, you will see that when I paint and I have very low strength, let me reduce the size. As I continue to paint here, I will paint first on top of the values. Okay. And then eventually it will go to the darker values here, which is great. If you don't like this result, you can actually invert this texture by putting a 1- and then connect it. Sorry, let's move this here, and let's connect this one to the height texture. And now look at this. Now the texture is here, and if I hit apply, now we'll have basically a different result. I will start basically from the valleys. I can just click here to paint. Let me paint some red values here and increase the strength a little bit. There you go. And maybe this is something you want, because you instead of using the peaks, you want to use the valleys. And this part is very obvious. You can see that the sand first starts at the bottom here, and then as you keep painting, of course, you will have like more results. And this gives you a very natural result where the sand starts at the valley spheres, and as you continue to add more and more painting, it has no choice but to cover also the peaks of the texture. So by painting like this, even if you don't have much vertex colors, you will feel that you have a lot of details. Like for example, in this part, we only have one vertex here, and this is what is driving basically almost the whole colors in this area. If I paint here, you will see that I can start adding more values here, and if I shift paint here, I will basically decrease the values. But you can see how this height lerp really helps you to have a much nicer result when you do your vertex painting. And if you have like results like this, you know, vertex painting, it's all about like the finesse of the things. You can start painting like here in this area, and as you can see, I cannot paint here because I don't have any vertex here. I will need more resolution. This is where it comes very handy. And now I can put like the sand in this area, and the same can be done here. I can press shift to delete some of them, and the idea is to have a little strength here and just little by little start painting. You don't want to paint like strength like 1, otherwise you will have a result like this, and you don't want that. You want to paint little by little here, so you can have a much nicer result. So let's see what other applications you can use with the vertex painting. In my case, I have imported a mesh from Quixel Megascan, so you can go to bridge, or you can find any mesh you want. I just find like these columns here, these pillars, can be a very nice choice to showcase what you can do with the Vertex Painting. And also I download this fourth stone wall. Okay, so I already have them in my content browser, and they come in different pieces, and I have my fourth stone wall here. So what we will do is to change the material of this nanite mesh so that you can have more variations. So let's start by checking the material instance it comes with. Like all the Megascans assets, they come with a very standard material, and you can check the default material that comes with the Megascans here. Okay, this material you can't find here in Megascans preset. You will find the different materials here. It comes automatically every time you import the material. In this case, this is the default material. Okay, so it's using this material here, so we're going to modify it. We're gonna use the same method we did when showcasing this cliff with the sand, but this time we're going to use bricks. So we're going here to my content browser and then go to the Megascans services. Let's grab these textures here. Okay, I drag them here and then put them here. Now, because this material can have a lot of textures, just to make sure, select all of them, and from the sampler source, we will select shared wrap. This will allow us to have more textures in our material. So now what we will do is to create a simple material just like we did before. We can just come here and then press tab and type make material attributes, and then we will go to the base color, connect this one here, the normal map here, and the ambient occlusion and the roughness here. One thing I want to add here is the tiling, but maybe we will do this in the future when we check our texture. So now we need to blend this asset using the vertex color information. So let's go here and put a vertex color. Okay, let's use the red channel for now, just to make things more simple. And we will go to height, lerp, just like we did before. And we're gonna put the transition phase here. And the height texture, maybe we can use the height from this texture here. Like all the materials they come with this material here. You can check the roughness, the green channel and the blue channel. Okay, but we could use this one just for now. So let's put the high texture here, and the contrast we will press 1 to create a scalar parameter and then convert it to a parameter so we can use it in the instance. We will call it Vertex Painting contrast. Okay, and we will put 1. Now, because this is a very big material, we want to organize ourselves a little bit. So let's create a group. Let's select all these textures. Okay, and maybe just select one. And here in the group, sorry, because this is not a parameter, you don't need to do this here. Let's put the group here and put the Vertex Painting. Okay, and I think this is the only parameter we have. Okay, so let's just leave it like that. And what we will do is to blend between these two. So we will put a material blend standard. Okay, so the base material, of course, will be the material we have, and the top material will be this one. So let's grab this one here, and this one we can just put it here so it doesn't really bother, and then put the alpha here. Okay, let's click here, and now we will see what happens with our material. Now you can see that all my mesh turned out to be the material that we just had here, and the reason is by default all the all the meshes have a value of 1. So what we can do is go here to mesh paint. Okay, and then go to paint, and let's fill all the channels to black. Let's fill it just like this, and nothing will happen because Nanite doesn't support per instance vertex channels. So what we can do is apply, and this will change the mesh original vertex colors so that all the meshes that are going to be imported here then we'll have the black vertex painting. Okay, so it's finished, and now you can see that this part turned back to normal. So what I need to do is to do the same for this part. I'm going here to mesh paint, then go to paint here and fill it with black and apply, continue, and I will do the same for the rest of the assets here. Okay, so I applied my vertex painting into my meshes. So what I can do is to go to my mesh paint here and go to paint, and now I can paint white here, and I can start painting here. So I can, let me go to my RGB, and you won't be able to see anything because you know, Nanite doesn't support per instance vertex painting. But just to showcase something really fast, I'm going to paint here a lot. Okay, and now that I have this, I'm just going to click apply, continue, and let's see how it looks like. Okay, so it's finished, and you can see that our vertex painting is working. However, it looks a little bit funny because basically the tiling is not right. So we're gonna fix it. We're going here to my material, and let's press U to get a texture coordinate. Let's press M to multiply, and let's press 1 to change the tiling. So right click here, convert to parameter, and this will be my vertex tiling, and I will put by 1 by default. So I will just go here, and then I can just put this, connect this one in the UVs, and then click apply. And now what I can do is to go here to my main material, and let's make sure this one is also in the group of vertex painting, otherwise it will be very hard to find. There you go. And now you can do something like 4 or 3 or 5, something like that, and you can start painting. Now this is not the prettiest result, but it shows basically what you can do with some vertex painting here. So what I will show you is how you can actually paint it here. If I double click on this one, I can disable Nanite and click apply changes. And I don't really recommend you to do this because it's a very heavy mesh, but once you finish painting your mesh, you know, it will start looking nicer. So let's wait a little bit, and then we will see how to paint the new mesh without Nanite. Okay, so it's finished. Now my mesh is here, and now that I don't have Nanite, I can just go here. Sorry, don't go to modeling, mesh paint, and let's just go here, paint. And because I have a lot of vertex, basically it will be very hard for me to paint. So vertex painting actually gives you a lot of flexibility, but if you have a lot of vertex, then you know it's gonna be a little slow here. So let me just paint here a little bit, just like this. Paint the red channel. Okay, let's paint again. There you go. Now we start getting something. There you go. Paint again. Okay, so let's paint again here. Maybe we can increase the strength a little bit. There you go. You can shift click here. I don't really want this roundy result, so we can just decrease the size and then just paint something like this. I mean, nanite meshes are not exactly good enough um, for painting. I mean, without nanite, painting becomes like really a mess. And just to illustrate this point, let me just delete some of parts with shift to make it like more like this, and then let's just leave it like that. And now what we can do is to basically go to the material instance here and change the vertex tiling here. We can, I believe 5 is not enough. We can put something like 50. No, that's too much. Something like that, like 10 or 7 looks like a nice number. And this is how you can basically add more detail. But you know, in my personal opinion, I would rather use the high resolution version for this. It will be it will have a much nicer result. So let's see how you can add very quickly a very complex vertex material. Quixel already provides a material for you to use and actually combine very different vertex channels. So let's see how you can use it. So if you go to bridge here, you can add many textures. For example, I will add this one. And here you will see that I have a bunch of textures I can use. So in order to select the material instance, I can just go to my folder here and I can press the filter tab, and then I can go to materials, material instance, and now you will see that I have a bunch of materials here. So what I can do is basically select the materials I want to use for my material layer blend. So I can select this one, and the order is important because it will determine the base, the middle layer, and the top layer. And then I will select the sand, and then I will select the grass. Okay. Now that I select all of those, I can just go to bridge. And here, this little icon here, I can just click on this one. And you can create a material blend here. Now you can blend this like tree blend material test. And it will create a material with this name. And it will, by default, the destination path will be here. Let's create a material blend. And looks like nothing has happened. But now you will see that I have a new folder here called blend materials. And what I have here is basically a very heavy material that uses all the textures that I have. And you can see here in my surface material, you can see that I have basically all the material blends for different channels, which is great. So what I will do here is to show you how it works. Let me go here again and let me duplicate this one. Okay, just press Alt and click, and let's duplicate this, and let's remove the vertex paint. Let's put everything into maybe dark. Okay, black. That, let's go and apply our material here. There you go. Now by default, of course, it will have my top layer here. Okay, then we have my middle layer, and then I have my base layer. So this material apparently is not using the white to get the information, it's using the black. So what I can do is to paint here, and instead of painting the black, I will put the white one. So let's see what happens when I paint the red. I can just paint here. Okay, let's go here and paint more. Actually, let's paint black. Okay, let's go here, and as you can see, I'm having some controls here. Okay, let's see what happens when we paint green. You will see that I have my mesh here. Now this blending is like we had before, it's very unnatural. This is why the material layer blend comes with some controls. Okay, so if I put the base layer controls and the top layer controls, I can just change the blend contrast and the fall off. For example, let me move this a little bit. Okay, and let me have more space, and this one also I will move it just like this. So now what I have is the blend amount. I can put 0 or 1 or 2, and just by changing this you can see what's going on here. The contrast is 1. If we put 0, it will be like super smooth. If we put 1, it will be very nice. So let me paint this red to see how it looks like. And as I continue to paint, you see that it starts painting from the bottom to the top. And the same can be done with this one. We can change the blend amount to 5, or maybe that's too much. 0.1 or 0.5, and then go to the blend contrast and put something like 2, or maybe put the blend amount to 1, and then the fall off to 0, or just make it really harsh, just like this. And then when I paint the green channel, I can just paint here. I can also change the blend amount to 3, and then you can just click shift here, make it 1, and just paint it like this, and you will have like a much harsher result, especially in these areas here. Okay, it will look much harsher. And for this one, of course, you can have your blend amount and paint the red one here, and that's pretty neat. Now if you paint the blue channel here, let's see what will happen. Basically I don't have anything here, but you will see that you have used puddle layer, and what this will use is the puddle. And as you can see, my blue channel here makes everything more glossy. It's like a puddle. So it's basically an additional feature that you can have here if you want to put puddles in your game. Maybe that's a good way to do it. You can press shift to remove the puddles, just little by little. And this is a very nice way to create material blends that you can have in your game, and you don't really need to create it from scratch. Just like we did, you can use Quixel Master Material for blend, and this will give you some really nice results. So we take a look at a lot of things. Now you will know what Vertex Painting is, how it works, how you can create your own materials, how to modify meshes, and how to use Quixel Master Material to create a very complex layer material. So if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and remember, let us know in the comments below which kind of video you would like to watch next, and we will see you in the next one.